welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today, this is going to be our score predictions for the Championship second leg of the playoff semi-final. So in today's video, guys, we've got a whole lot to go ahead and discuss. I'm interested to hear what you guys made of all the action over the weekend. So this video is going to be split into two parts. So the first half of the video, we're going to be going ahead and talking about the games which did take place over the weekend. Of course, we had both semi-final first legs go on, both ending 1-0 in the end, and they both did bring up quite a few talking points. I'd be interested to hear what you guys made of them. And then the second half of the video, we're going to be going ahead and predicting what we think will happen in the second leg of these games. So of course, with them both finishing 1-0, we've still got absolutely everything to play for, and it's still a tough one to call in my opinion. So make sure you do leave a comment in the comments down below as to what you make of both teams' performances in the first leg, as well as that, what are your score predictions for the second leg of fixtures. And then if you do successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct, I will include your comment at the start of the next video. And speaking of that, actually, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you guys did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct, then I will include your comment on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get one correct. You know, both of them finishing 1-0 in the end wasn't the easiest one to predict, so fair play to everyone who got one right. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and talk about these games over the weekend. So our first game to go ahead and talk over was, of course, the game taking place on Friday night, where Derby managed to go ahead and claim a 1-0 home victory over Fulham. Now, this could be massive going into the second leg, and I'd actually be interested to know from the general Championship viewer, who do you think is going to go through to the final of this game? As I did run a poll on the last video, and it was a resounding win for Fulham going through. But after Derby had picked up this result, they've got something to hang on to going into that second leg. Talking over this performance, though, we saw Fulham have a lot of the ball in this one, and for large majorities of the game, they were getting very frustrated. You know, players like Tom Kenny and Johansson, they were playing pretty decent football. You know, they were controlling the tempo of the game, but when it came to that final quality in the final third, things just weren't falling for them. You know, Mitrovic wasn't really in this game at all, and then of course Derby took the lead in the first half. It was a very nice work goal from them, actually. Tom Huddleston had spotted Craig Forsyth out on the left side with a bit of space. He dinked it into him, and then a delightful ball from Forsyth into Cameron Jerome, and an absolute bullet header from him managed to make it 1-0 to Derby. And then you got to give it to Derby. It was a very professional defensive performance to go ahead and close out on this 1-0, you know. Derby, that was their only shot on target in this game, so they did well to hang on to that. You know, in the second half, Fulham just kept pressing. Things just weren't falling for them. You know, they hit the crossbar. Floyd Ayite had a fantastic chance when he was throwing goal. He just couldn't get that into the back of the net. Players like Sessegnon weren't really in this game. I didn't think he had his best one, neither with Mitrovic. He was looking quite isolated. So for Fulham going into the second leg, they've got it all to do now. And then the other playoff semi-final saw Aston Villa go ahead and claim a 1-0 away victory at Middlesbrough in what was a very professional performance from Aston Villa. The opening goal coming from Jedinak. I thought Middlesbrough would have been very disappointed to concede it in the way they did. It was a set piece corner coming in from Jack Grealish. Jedinak seemingly was pretty unmarked, really. I think it was Ryan Shotton who was supposed to be marking him. He got absolutely nowhere near him, and Jedinak managed to go ahead and get his header into the far post. After that, both sides did have quite a few chances. You know, Aston Bolonga, I think, had 3 chances in the first half. Neither of them that he could convert. I think the last chance was probably the best. He had a really good header inside the 6-yard box, really, but he couldn't direct it away from Sam Johnson. It was quite a comfortable save from him in the end. Then into the second half, Middlesbrough, they were trying to push for something. They created quite a few half chances, but nothing really too clear cut to really go ahead and trouble Sam Johnson. It was a very professional performance from Aston Villa in that second half, really, but it does set up quite nicely going into the second leg now. So those were the first legs that did take place over the weekend, guys. So let me know down below, what did you guys make of everyone's performances this weekend, and who are you backing for making it into the final? But apart from that, guys, let's go ahead and jump in to my predictions for the second leg of fixtures. So we'll start out with the game taking place tonight, guys, between Fulham and Derby County. Now, this is actually a really interesting game, and I'd be quite intrigued to see how Derby go ahead and approach this game. In my opinion, if they are going to go ahead and sit back and defend and close this Fulham side out again, then fair play to Derby. They'll more than deserve to make it to the final. You know, if they manage to keep 2 clean sheets over these 2 legs against Fulham, then fair play. They probably deserve to go up all the way, but I'm just not sure I can see that happening. I just really have a strong inclination that Fulham will score a couple of goals in this game, you know. Derby, they're going to want to keep it tight, you know, for the first half, and the longer that continues, the more this Fulham side will get frustrated, and then the more that Derby can play on that. But I do get that impression that Derby are going to need us to score a goal tonight, really, to stay in this tight, and I've got a feeling they may go ahead and do that, you know. We saw last time that Fulham, defensively, I still think that there are weaknesses there, which Derby could exploit, you know. If you got players running in behind like Tom Lawrence and Mate Vidra, who were causing them a couple of problems, and players like Cameron Jerome with his lethal finishing at the moment, Derby really do still have a chance for this one. I just think that Fulham are really going to be up for this one, you know. They're going to control the tempo of this game, and eventually I feel like all of that pressure will tell on this Derby defence. So for a prediction for this one, I actually see this one heading towards a Fulham 2-1 home victory. And of course, if that does happen, that will mean that this game is heading towards a penalty shootout. And that would just be ridiculously dramatic. I don't think my heart could be able to take that, really. But honestly, I do see this game heading towards penalties. And then it really is just a flip of a coin from there. So, in my opinion, Fulham are going to win this game 2-1. And I'm going to go ahead and back Fulham to win on penalties. So I'm going to stick my neck on the line and think that that's going to happen. If Derby do go ahead and close out this game, then fair play to them. They will have done a fantastic job taking down the favourites to go up this season. So that is a really interesting tie. I'm just going to back Fulham. FIFA's going to say it'll be 2-0 Derby. And then the game taking place tomorrow, we of course see Aston Villa going up against Middlesbrough. Quite an interesting tie once again. This time we see the home side go back with the advantage in this one. So Aston Villa, it'll be an interesting one to see how they set up in this one, you know. Middlesbrough, they're just going to have to go for it in this one, really. And you'd think that if Middlesbrough are going to be playing quite a high line to go ahead and get that equaliser in this game fairly early on, that's going to leave space in behind for some of Villa's attacking players like Jack Grealish and Albert Adoma and Robert Snodgrass, who are going to have that space in behind to go ahead and exploit, you know. One thing that was really prominent from that first leg was Aston Villa's set pieces are an absolute nightmare to deal with, you know. Whether it is Jack Grealish or Robert Snodgrass delivering them, they are so hard to defend. So you feel like Middlesbrough can't be affording to give anything silly away from the edges of the box or to be conceding too many corners either. I do see Middlesbrough getting back into this game though. I think that they will score at Villa Park. They did get quite unlucky not to get a goal in the home tie. You know, Son Belonga just didn't seem to have his shooting boots on in that game. But for this game, I do see Middlesbrough scoring, although I still do feel like it's going to be Aston Villa playing in the final. And I actually see that, I think that Middlesbrough will probably get the first goal in this game. Villa will come back with a reply, and then Villa may go ahead and seal this one late on. So for this game, I'm going to back Aston Villa for a 2-1 home victory. And of course, on aggregate, that would mean that they would progress to the final on 3-1 on aggregate. So that's my prediction for this game, guys. FIFA's going to go ahead and say it will end as a 1-1 draw. So guys, there you have it. There are my score predictions for what I will think will happen in the second leg. So make sure you guys do go ahead and get your score predictions in the comments down below. I'm very interested to see what you guys are predicting. Both the games will be left in the description. So in my personal opinion, the Championship playoff final is going to be between Fulham and Aston Villa. So that's a bit of a bold shot from me, of course. Fulham needing to come back from behind, but I've got a feeling that that will be the final. So what do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So thank you so much for watching. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.